Hello guys and welcome back, and if you're new to my channel, my name is Perry aka Tesla DIY. I document the build progress of my Tesla Model 3 and Model Y, as well as some DIY installation project like this one you're watching. In today's video, I'm going to be installing these Eagle Eyes sequential LED tail lights from shop.teslarati. I'll leave a link in the description on my friend's 2021 Tesla Model 3, so let's get right into it. First thing you're going to do is to open your trunk, because we're going to pop off the back panel of your trunk. To do so, you'll need some pry tool. I used a squeegee because that's what I had and it gets the job done. This panel is held onto by some push to connect clips that you can just pull and pop right out. Once you have got the panel off, you will have to disconnect the harness to the push button. Just pull and it should disconnect. Next, we're going to remove the tail light that is on the trunk. Locate the 8mm nut at the back of the trunk. Use a deep 8mm socket to unscrew it. Now disconnect the wire that is connected to the tail light. There's a lock pin you need to pull out first. Then you can pull the connector off. Next, remove the taillight on the body by unscrewing the big knob on top. A tool may be needed if it's too tight. An adjustable plier is a good tool for this job. Unfold and push back this fabric liner to expose the two 8mm nut that is to secure the taillight. Unscrew both nuts and unplug the wiring connector to free up the taillight. Remove the taillight by wiggling it. It is held onto by two push pins. Pull carefully and use your body as a guide in case it shoots right out. Don't drop it. Lower the trunk lid as we are about to remove the taillight on the trunk. Again, wiggle it to break it loose. It is held onto by the same push pins. Use a pry tool if needed. Here I am showing you a side-by-side or top-by-bottom of the old and new taillight. You can see the new one on the bottom is slightly tinted. Before we put the new taillight in, let's take a look at the wiring. There is a green wire which simply connects to the corresponding green wire on each taillight. There are two other wire harnesses with the same connectors, one short, one long. The long one goes to the driver's side taillights as it has a much longer routing. I'll show you the routing later. And the socket on the lights is for the OEM connection from the car, the one that we unplugged from the OEM taillights. Before I run the wires, I pull these rubber grommets out because we are about to shove some wires into these tiny rubber sleeves and then catching it on the other end. Shove the wiring connectors through the hole on the trunk. Push the taillight in so it's held in place. Connect the green wire, the 4-pin connector, and the OEM connector to the taillights. Run the wire to the inner channel of the trunk, all the way to the other side. To get the wire to unreachable area, use a wire hanger, or in my case, I made my own out of chicken wire. Tape the wires to the metal wire and feed it toward the hole. Then catch it with your hand from the receiving end. Now is the fun part. We need to feed all these wires through this skinny rubber sleeve. I sprayed some soapy water into the sleeve to help lubricate the inside, hoping the wire slides through easier. Make sure you tape up all the connectors so the water won't get into it. Because of the chunkiness of the connector head, I struggled to fish the wire through, so I decided to take the longer route, which is to depin all the individual wire from the connector. You will only have to depin 8 total wires, 4 for each connectors. To do so, I stick the chicken wire that I had into the connector and pull the wire from the other end at the same time. I'm sure there's a specific tool to depin wires, but that's what I had and it worked for me. Remember the orders of the wires because you will have to reconnect them later. I also cut off the push connection of the green wire. I will join them back together later with these very cool heat shrink connectors that has integrated soldering iron. Now that I have a smaller bundle of wire to fish through, I'm able to push it through almost all the way, and then I got stuck. So then I pulled the end of the sleeve back to expose the wire and pull it through with my hand. Using a towel helps because there's soapy water everywhere. Pull the wire all the way through, but keep in mind that one of the wire is for the right side of the taillight, which we haven't connected yet. It's the shorter wire. Loop the wires through this hole. You can see the hole from the inside. Pull it through and route the long 4 pins wire and the green wire to the driver's side. Hide it behind the top plastic panel, which by the way also pulls right off as it is also held on to by those push clips. Loop the wires through the taillight socket hole. Now it's time to put the pins back into the connector. For me, the wire sequence was black, white, yellow, red. If you forget which pin goes where, just check the other end of the connector. Also reconnect the green wire. Now plug in all the wire to the back of the new taillight. Reinstall the taillight just like how we removed them, but in reverse order. I zip tied the wire and tucked it behind the taillight. Reinstall the 2 8mm nuts. Tuck the fabric liner back behind the rubber seal. Oh, and don't forget to put back the 8mm nut for the taillight on the trunk, if you have not already done so. And finally, we are done with one side. The other side is pretty much the same except we don't have the green wire, but the rest of the wires already routed. So simply swap the old taillight with the new one, connect all the wire connection and you should be good. Once you're done with the other side, before you put the trunk panel back, go ahead and test all the lights and make sure they work. I've noticed that the turn signal comes on with the brake light, which is weird, but I think this is related to the same issue with the US spec Model 3s. If you're not sure what I'm talking about and if you want to learn more, watch my other video on the rear bumper reflector light install. This is a minor issue and only happens on a US spec Model 3. It should work normally as it should on a newer Model Y and other Model 3s and Y in other countries. For example, Asia spec and Euro specs. And this is also just my assumption. There could be a fix that I'm not aware of, so let me know if you have the same issue and if you have a solution for it. Anyways, let's take a look at these taillights in the dark. When the parking lights first comes on, there is a short animation sequence, then it will stays on. Brake lights are bright and lights up in the middle with the amber turn signal, however. And again, this is not normal, so it could be an issue for some people. And when you trigger the turn signals, it goes from the inside to the outside in a sequential animation pattern. And that's it guys, I hope this video helps. I know it's a bit lengthy, but it's one of those videos that I wish I get to watch before I did my install. This took me about 4 hours as I spent a lot of time figuring out what I should do next, and I got stuck for a long time when I was trying to fish the wires. Had I known what I know now, I could probably done this in less than 2 hours, I think. If you're interested in these taillights, I'll leave an affiliate link in the description to Teslarati Marketplace, as well as the wire connectors that I use in this video. Thanks again for watching, and if you enjoy videos like this, consider clicking the subscribe button to see more DIY projects. Also give me a like and leave me a comment, as it will help boost my video and help the channel grow. I'll catch you guys next time.